All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Battle of the Sexes. It's your favorite panel members. We have E-Black TV, Real Talk 87, and Intrigued by Me. Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Hello.
Hello to the people in the
Namaste.
chat.
Namaste. I am blessed and highly favored.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. Hey, Dre. Hey, Nita. Hey, Leonard Hodge. Welcome, guys. Welcome to tonight's topic. So, tonight's topic that's up for discussion is we're talking everything unconventional marriages. Do they work? Are they a good idea? Do we feel that more people are going towards the unconventional marriages than the conventional marriages? Or and how do we feel that people are reacting to this? We're going to talk about it. We're going to say what our opinions are on unconventional marriages. Do we agree? Do we disagree? What are the reasons behind our thoughts and opinions? And then, obviously, as per usual, we will drop the link and we'd love to hear from you guys. So, oh yeah, don't forget, whilst you're coming in, don't forget to hit those thumbs up. And if you can share us out, then please feel free to share us out too. Okay, who wants to begin? E-Black TV.
He's on mute.
You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all
Yeah.
want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I guess, mainly people are in this new modern age. We don't want any type of societal pressures holding us back from building the society, and we're seeing why. It's detrimental to our community. We need to start teaching our children, showing our children why marriages are important, and putting back this family unit so we can make a better society. We're too far behind and we need to start catching up. So I'm going to start with that.
Okay. Real Talk 87.
I'll hold my thoughts till after Neek says her little piece. Go ahead, Neek.
Go on, Nick.
Okay. Let's see. I do think that everyone is kind of going the unconventional route. I'm seeing a lot more of that nowadays. Lot more long-term relationships. A lot of people like Yandy and Mendices are having that kind of spiritual marriage or whatever people are doing now, like committed ceremonies or something like that. Actual marriage as we have it today in the United States is pointless. It's a trap to hurt you financially. It can be very detrimental to you should it not work out, and that is a big gamble that people I feel are tired of taking, and they're saying no. Like, I'm not going to allow you to rip half of my life apart just because I decide I no longer am in love with this person. So I can appreciate the unconventional route because it's safer and it keeps people intact. That's like a lot of times you see like on these like shows, the ID channel, people are getting murdered like behind these type of losses because they're very significant. They change your lifestyle, your quality of life, I guess. And so I think that it's a good thing. I think that marriage is pointless. I think that they need to take it off the table. You get back in the day before, what was it when they started making marriages legal? I don't remember the year. I guess I can fact check myself later. But before that, people just decided to be together and they were married. And then in comes the government, getting in the middle of things, and then it starts like becoming just detrimental to
I'm
someone.
sorry, we're going to need a little bit more harder facts on that topic.
Didn't you just hear me say that I don't know the year and I have to fact check myself?
I heard you say that, but it sounded a whole bunch about a bunch of cap. So
What?
5 minutes
What are you
in,
talking
and
about?
it begins.
What? No. Further elaborate, E-Black. Maybe I can follow you.
Well, you saying that somehow the marriage system was brought in as the government's way. I mean, the
It
marriage system,
was.
the marriage system has been a system for endless time. So I'm just trying to figure
No.
out. I'm sorry. When the the Bill of Rights don't have marriage in there, the Constitution doesn't have marriage in there. I'm just trying to figure out at what point did a government entity say we're going to
When they
recognize
require
marriage?
you to have a legal license to get married.
Okay.
And I
I
will,
thought it
like,
was more of a
as I stated,
religious
I
thing.
will, and as I stated, I will fact check myself and find a year here in a bit.
Okay, no problem.
She'll Google.
Yeah.
Go
Hey,
ahead,
Nita.
continue
Yeah,
real
we can
quick.
see you.
5 minutes in.
See, E Black Nico's on a raw, and E Black just gonna mess her up.
He says cap, like I'm out here stunting. Like, I don't get that. I don't know.
If it
Or
don't
maybe I don't
go,
understand what cap
if it
means.
don't
'Cause I
go
know
to
that
E
he uses
Black's,
that word a lot, so I don't know.
if it goes against E Black's point, it's cap. That's what he
That's
calls
what
cap.
cap means?
That's what.
Oh.
If it goes against his point, yeah, it's cap.
Oh, okay.
Because most of the time when you guys do go against me, it is cap.
When we say capping, that means like pretending to be something. So
That's what cap really is. But yeah,
oh, okay. So I don't know how that relates to me saying that marriage was a government requirement, and I'll find the year. I don't know how that relates to capping.
We're
We'll
all
continue.
capping if you disagree with E Black TV. That's the point he just made. Interesting. Okay, whilst Meek is gathering her facts and gonna come right back up in a minute. Real Talk 87.
what? My thoughts on what?
Unconventional
What?
marriages, sir. The topic of tonight.
Well, I mean, I say whatever works for the two of them works for them, and
Yeah.
can't nobody really tell them how they supposed to get married. They can get married however they want to get married. So, I mean, it is what it is. And like to Neek's point, even back in biblical times, nobody was legally married, like as in a written document married. Nobody was in the Bible. Nobody. They just got together and they called themselves married.
Right. It was to split up
So
property.
Well, they had a ceremony and stuff.
they have a ceremony, but they was not.
Right.
There was nothing
That's
written
not
that they
marriage.
was married.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because they couldn't even read and write back then anyway. So they couldn't.
Hebrew.
No, they could not read and write back in though. Most of them was illiterate. There was very few who can read and write, and the ones that could. Either way, there was no legal documents that anybody back then was married. So the legal thing of marriage is a very as far as historical times goes is a very recent thing. It's very new. So
I'm trying to find it here, and I'm trying to talk as well and listen.
but yeah, I agree that most people don't want to get married as far as the legal terms of the government is concerned because it's too much to lose if the marriage does not work out really on both ends. It's too much to lose. So people don't want to take them risk anymore. So I don't blame them.
You know how some, a lot of people who aren't wealthy don't don't get it. I guess like because they don't have anything to lose. Like it's so minuscule. But there are people with there are millionaires out here. Look at Bill Gates, billionaires that have to go through these processes and they end up and I don't know. I guess that's a topic we can kind of segue into. Like, do you deserve this because you've been with this person for X amount of years, or because you have to take care of the children, or whatever, or you just want to continue living in the manner that you become accustomed to? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dr. Dre, a lot of
No, carry on.
I was just saying, I was just thinking of people like I said, Dr. Dre and Mary J. Blige, like a lot of people that are wealthy go through things where people clean them out, and you can end up in a very bad place and start and do some things, that you regret because you have to jump out of character because you're losing things. Things are being pulled away from you that you probably feel like people do not deserve.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this: you can't enter into a sacred ceremony like marriage with fear base. You can't.
I agree, but I don't think it's fear. I think it's protection. I think it's understanding the way the world works, being realistic and logical. That things happen and you put things in place like prenups. I'm a big advocate. If you are going to go through the governmental marriage, traditional marriage, be sure that you are putting something in writing. I don't care if you got $2 in the bank. Like, we need to know if this does not work, how are we going to split things? What's going to happen, down the line? But people aren't doing that.
Well, I also believe that marriage is I first of all, I agree with you, especially from a man's standpoint. Men are statistically more liable for losses based on the fact that we're more likely to be the breadwinners. Family courts are lenient more towards the mother in terms of custody. So
Stop interrupting, V. Right now, E Black is telling the truth. So don't act like men normally in marriages ain't the breadwinners. Normally they are.
I'm sorry. You said stop interrupting. Are you not interrupting right now?
I am now because you interrupted him. So
I'm sipping on my wine. I was letting him say.
Go ahead, E Black.
Clearing my throat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let E Black keep capping.
Yeah.
Like I said, men. From the men's standpoint, we traditionally have more to lose in terms of the court system. So I can understand why most men do not want to enter into relationships with women who do not value the worth of marriage. So I can understand that totally. In terms of the women, I would almost counter argue that women would probably want to enter into marriage based on the protections, the taxes, a view of them in society. So I'm kind of not on. I understand from Nick's standpoint about Mary J. Blige, but we're literally talking about maybe 2% of the population of women that could truly get hurt in their marriage. So I'd rather focus on the majority of.
Yeah, I don't think it matters if you're female or male. The person, that's with the breadwinner, regardless of gender, is going to get hurt. That's the point. It doesn't matter what their, sex is.
But in action and in real life, put them boots on the ground. Actionable facts. In most court systems, you see men are the breadwinners and you see women not be. So I can understand your point. Yeah, in the eyes of the court and the eyes of the law, it should be 50-50 blind to gender, but that's just not what's going on in America.
I don't think it's blind to gender. I just think that since men are traditionally the breadwinners, or statistically, I guess I'll say, the breadwinners in most marriages, I think that it just tends to fall that way. But I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters who it is. Just that someone is out here getting hurt, and losing everything that they built and worked for, and people are just showing up and taking and receiving and going on about their life, and then somebody else is broken down completely.
And I think we agree. What you're saying is that figuratively it could be the both ways, because men do get alimony, so I can see that. But I'm just saying that
I don't think it matters who it is.
On most court documents, there's men getting.
I mean, that's cool. I don't think that it matters who, male, female, turtle.
Ooh, I'm getting petty this already.
No, I'm just saying.
We were just having a conversation again. Turtle.
I'm just saying, I don't know what the gender role has to do with what we're
Timing
talking
matters.
Well, the reason
Yeah.
why is because, like I said, we're talking about society and why they don't want to get married. So if we look at society statistically, we can understand why men don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, to your point, that women stand everything to gain if they get with someone that is a breadwinner, but still men go after wealthy women. Like they go get sugar, sugar mama. Like they out
Yeah.
here
A
winning
lot of
too.
men do, especially to
Yeah.
get a green card. But
Yeah.
look, I think you're all capping, okay? I'm joking. I think that traditional marriage, I don't believe there's anything wrong with traditional marriage. Um, I I find it interesting listening to everybody and everyone's stance and opinions and thoughts. And I can't say I disagree, but I just think we can't always talk negatively about traditional marriage. There's nothing wrong with a traditional marriage if you get your paperwork straight. No one's gonna lose. If you get it straight and you come to an agreement before things go sour, no one's gonna lose in a traditional marriage. A traditional marriage can work for both parties. And there's no harm in having that, and both parties can benefit from it, And I feel the same way about unconventional marriages too. If that's what you want to do and that's what you're more comfortable doing, then fine. But then at the same time, with unconventional marriages, sometimes you don't have those rights that you want to have and you can lose out that way. I think the legal route is more of a protection, and you can just do an extra step to make sure all parties are protected, say anything goes south. The problem is people aren't doing that, and then they want to be blaming other people for things going wrong, or blaming the government for having these rules and laws out there that they feel is against them. No, you just didn't do what you were supposed to do as a human being. And you wasn't looking out for your own rights and your own protections before you got married, And that's personally my opinion on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with traditional marriage either, at all, and I don't look at it as such a negative thing. I just think people just need to be smarter the way they go about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think a lot of people don't want to be traditional because, because we always talk about these roles, like the woman is cooking and cleaning and the man is working,
Yes.
And so
right up your alley.
That bothers me because I think we all need to be doing everything. Like there's no, just because I'm feminine, I need to be cooking and cleaning.
Right.
If you're masculine, you just need to work and provide financially. So I think that traditional marriage, people are turning away from it because I think that it's trying to box people in. Like now that we have these freedoms, people are being more liberated with who they are and just living in their truth. I think that there's not a lot of room for the traditional marriage because of the way that people go about it. So I think the only reason why people are getting married now is I believe, is like the whole protection thing when it comes down to, it's going to be hard as hell to get out of this. And so if I have kids or, I said something to gain, but I think that they need to start, I don't know. I think that I think that marriage should be what you want it to be. I don't think that the government should be allowed to interfere in the sanctity of marriage and tell you how to divide and split up things, or once you guys go through divorce, and especially when it comes to your children and how you're going to raise them, how often you're going to see them. Like it's more than financial. There could be family breakdown there. Who you're going to have living with my kids when you go get into a different relationship, and these people are around my children more than me, and they're allowed more access to my children than I am, So these are some factors that I think hurt people that aren't necessarily in line with just, oh, we're getting 50-50, or I give you half of, everything I have.
Well, the role of the government is to ensure when two parties split and they do not agree, that there's a person that does come in. There's nothing stopping anybody or any couple saying, "Hey, when we leave this relationship, this is what you get and this is what you get," and then you go to your county building and then you dissolve the marriage and walk away. There's nothing stopping anybody with that. It's when two people do not agree, and then the government has to come in and mediate that situation, because it is technically part of the community property. So
No, you can't just go down and sign paper and be like, I'm done.
yes,
You have to sit, you have to draw up. It's just that when people refuse to fight and show up to their court date, you have to go to your judge. You have to get paperwork typed out about who gets a car, and this will remain in such and such possession. This will remain in such and such possession. New address, like all of that. Like,
both parties are involved in the divorce. Yeah,
you have to.
But that's the reason why we have to have the government. That's the reason why we have to have the government in the middle to say, okay, well, because if you take the car and we don't agree that you don't get the car.
Because you know what? A car is in one person's name.
I understand what you're saying.
Say the husband buys the car, but actually it's the wife's car. Or it's in the husband's name, but it's actually the wife's car.
Yeah, so that's the point. So if you took the car, all I'm saying is that the reason why the government is involved is because of unruly parties not agreeing on a contract.
I think we understand that coming in, but we're saying that, are they needed to do that?
Yes, if you know what, you're answering the question with my.
I'm saying, are they really needed? I don't think they are.
Well, that's the point.
You're advocating for them. I'm sorry, Vee. You're trying to talk.
No, yeah, you're good.
I said you're advocating for the breakdown of property and everything, but two people can amicably do that by themselves. They don't need to go pay attorneys and judges and courts and whatever they're doing just to say, you can take the car. We can go put it in your name, or you can go refinance it. There's a way to break down things that does not require the government. Because look, if you weren't married and you were just girlfriend and boyfriend or whatever you are, and you break up, you still have to do the same thing. You have to split things, if you're living under one house and you're buying things, you have to. So we've proven with these non-traditional roles that people can break down things without the government being involved. So why is this marriage like this holding me to a different standard just because I have a piece of paper that said at one point I love this person and I want to be with them, and then I found out they were trash and I just want to take my ball and go home?
Well, that's the thing. That's the point, is that just that legal paper is a legal document contract, and it's an entity. So just like in business, if you have a business partner, you can't just say, hey, half of this business is mine and I'm going home. You have to legally dissolve it.
But you can have a business that's not on paper.
Yeah, well,
just like you can't have a marriage that's
very vague.
So is traditional marriage in that sense valid? I'm sorry for over talking you.
No, that's fine. That's just very vague, Nick. Let's be honest. We have a business agreement and we have a partnership, and if we do not.
Vee does not like the word. She don't like to tie those two together. Business and contract and marriage, no.
Yeah. So if we have this legal entity and we have to split, we have to leave a paper trail for taxes purpose, for possessional purchases, because essentially it's a legal entity. So you have to get the government involved to say that this is when the line stops and you move to the left and you move to the right. You don't need it you do not need it when you have two rational people, but you still need it for when you go to the courthouse and you dissolve the legal entity.
So does the love change because I have a paper that I got to go down and to the court with? because you can still be married, right? I believe in some kind of partnership, commitment. I just want to argue the fact that is the way we're going about it the correct way, or is this just a setup, that's costing people their lives ultimately, or just a bunch of money that some people or most people do not have, because the most people that are getting married are slumming folk, and we're just out here working every day and trying to make a living. If things break down, had I not signed a paper with you, we can figure this thing out of who gets what. But if I did sign a paper with you, now I gotta go and give you half that you don't even know I had going on because it's mine and I built it. It was just another stream of income or something, and here you are able to get it just because we got this paper.
Well, that's
but
the
some
point.
People are scandalous though. They just gonna take and be greedy and be gone. Yeah. I think that I actually do feel that the legal part of it plays a very important role. I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to say it, but I slightly side with E Black.
Okay.
There's parts of what he says I'm completely against, as you guys all know. But, with regards to the legality of marriage, I actually think that it plays an important role. And I think people take marriage a little bit more seriously when you have that legal implication over you.
I don't think they do. They are getting married, just
I think they do because at the end of the day, I mean, don't get me wrong, people are getting divorced like it's nothing. Yeah. I mean, but then it also maybe there should be another route which before people get married, they have to go through another hoop before they get married. Because what's the purpose of marriage? What's the purpose of marriage?
There used to be a thing called shame.
Is it so that you can get up and leave one day when you wake up and say, this isn't for me no more. You're getting on my nerves. I'm out. Like, because that's
what people do when they break up, though. Like, it's the same thing.
They do it all the time, V. All the time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I feel that when people get married or go into marriage, they shouldn't be looking at it as this is an option and I can get out of it at any time.
But V, listen.
You can stay in a relationship and not bother with the marriage if you want to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Do you understand, V?
When you go into marriage, you should be trying to do that as in, like, this is my life. Like, this is
that's that fairy tale shit. That's why
that is fairy tale. That's very fairy tale. Listen, V,
do you fairy tale?
That is fairy. Listen, V, do you understand?
You don't go into marriage to be like, oh, I'm gonna marry my husband for 5 years and then I'm gonna leave him and get with the next one.
That's not how people think.
I mean, that's dumb.
But look, V, the thing is, most marriages don't end because one person fell out of love with another one. They end because they quit liking the other one. Just because they stopped liking them. I'm through with you. I'm done with it. Not because they fell out of love, they just fell out of like with them. They stopped liking them.
If that's your type of personality, then you shouldn't be getting married in the first place. You have no business getting married.
It happens all the time.
But when you grow as a person, especially
if you used to happen that much.
When you're together with someone for so many years, you're not the same in your 20s. From your 20s to your 30s, you grow, you evolve, your mindset changes. Like you may decide you want to change religions. You may decide, I want my
business, but that's why a lot of people.
Go ahead.
I mean, I agree with you, but that's why a lot of people, if you think about it, when you speak to older people, a lot of the time they say you shouldn't be getting married young. They'll tell young, like people that are like in their 20s or whatever, young, early 20s. A lot of the times they get told, are you sure you're ready for marriage? Are you sure this is something that you really want? Because at the end of the day, you're still learning yourself. Maybe that isn't a decision that you should have made. Like, for instance, I feel sometimes looking back at when I got married that I probably shouldn't have done it yet. He definitely wasn't ready for it. I was ready for it, but he definitely wasn't ready for it. But, at the same time, youngsters are going to do what they want to do. They believe they're in love and they believe that they're doing the right thing.
But you could be 30, 40 situation. You could be older too, though, and have it.
You might have a bit more of a chance of doing it when you're older because you live your life and gone through different stages in life.
If you're the person that evolves correctly, but then you got these people that never get out of this, childlike mind state, and then they bring it over into, you know, adulthood. And at some point, especially if you're the other person, you're their partner, and you're supporting them through this, at some point, if you're like, I'm just sick of this, like I'm tired of this shit, you know, and I gotta move on because I need to save myself first. I need something different out of life. And this is not what I want my marriage to look like. I wanted it when I was 32. And now that you could be 34 and it's just not working, you know, like whatever happens. People go through things, people change, people have traumas that happen during marriages, and it changes their character, and they're just not the same person anymore, you know, and you just may not want to do that. So the marriage, the traditional marriage, and I think that we need to not look at traditional marriages and being one man, one woman, you know, under God, and we need to look at it as the government, the paper aspect of it, because that's what traditional paperwork.
I disagree.
No.
Because
I agree with you, Nick. I'm with you.
I disagree with it. Like I don't look at marriage as, I think that the legal aspect of it, the government aspect of it is a second part with regards to marriage. Marriage is the joining of two people. The government part of it is just
they made up the marriage
bonus, if you want to say. But realistically, it's about loving that person that you want to be with, making a choice to want to join your life together.
That's not
marriage ain't about love.
Yes,
marriage ain't about love. Marriage is not about love. No, it's not.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
All right.
Because marriage was created.
So clinical.
What we're getting,
like a contract.
What we're getting is paperwork. That's their marriage. That's what they made marriage into. But back in the day, we used to just put a broom down and jump it and go home, right? And now that we've let the government become so involved and tell us when you can't get married and can't get married, now they're too far in. Marriage is theirs. Before they made this first marriage license, I think it says 1639. You black, I'm still fact checking. So
keep on.
Yeah.
But you also have common law marriages where the government really isn't that involved.
That's not a traditional marriage. That's what is it called?
That's non-traditional.
It's non-traditional, but it's still a legal situation. So I mean, you have a legal ramification in both, regardless. You might not be entered into a contract, but it's still illegal.
Exactly.
It's still known legally as a. I mean,
it's hard to prove your common law.
Mm-hmm.
You look at what happened with DMX's common law wife. I mean, he died and she's getting nothing. It's hard
to prove common law now, especially nowadays, because people run that through the ringer.
But legally, think about it. She was with the man for 14 years. He dies, and all the legacy that he leaves behind is gone. It goes back to the record companies. That's not what marriage is. But marriages is about leaving a legacy for generational wealth, and it's about
we all broke. Look at that.
Exactly. We are.
Okay. Well, that's the reason why one in four.
That's not. You need it. I thought you said you was gonna research earlier, because if you go look at like the history of marriage and how it first came up, it was really about it was back when that slavery stuff was going on. Who can get this land? Who can't get this land? Yes, that's when the first marriage license was introduced. Before then, you could get married. You could take your beans and your crops or whatever you're doing, and you go over here and you live. You know, and then walks the government with this paperwork, and they create marriage, and they tell you what marriage is, because they're telling you how you can get in it and how you can't get out of it. But they don't belong in that. They don't belong.
Originally, marriages was about you joining of families. You know, women would be passed over for the protection of their male counterparts, and the families would be joined through that marriage. That doesn't necessarily need a legal document. So I think you're kind of confusing that point. But it was a structural thing based on society and how they administrated their society. So when I say me and Vee were to get married, all of Vee's family would enjoy that, and we would conjoin our families, and the protections of both families would be there. So cattle would be split. You know, we would defend Vee's last name, and Vee's family would defend our last name. That's how it was set up. And
but
then
see, that's how people were. That's what we were saying. They've been getting married without the government forever and bringing in, but they introduced a license that paperwork. That's like when they took everybody's gold and put it in a vault and start giving you fiat paper, saying that these are dollars, you know, in the place of all your gold, you know. It's like the same thing that every time the government comes and puts their spin on something, because now they took control of what marriage is. They can tell you, they just now start letting two same-sex people get married because they control what marriage is.
Yep. And do people forget about wills?
I guess so.
Because apparently DMX didn't even have a will. That's the reason why nothing went to his common law wife, because he didn't have a will.
But
right.
But usually it will still go to your next of kin, and it still goes to
if you have a will, they follow the will first.
Yeah, they follow the will before next of kin. Next of kin comes in when you don't have anything.
If you have a will, but if you don't have a will, then it should go to your next of kin next.
No, next of kin. No, it should go to the beneficiary in the will, whatever's written in the will, and that's not always next of kin.
But if you don't have a will, what I'm saying is if you don't then it goes to your next of kin.
But
your next of kin and your kids and everybody else.
And it's also dependent upon the structure of the original contract that you signed. You know, for instance, Social Security. This is a contract between you and the government. If you die, then your contract expires. But if you're married, then that contract gets transferred over to the beneficiary of your spouse. So it's just all dependent upon the type of contract you're signing. So it's not always cut and dry in terms of that's why marriage. Yes, marriage.
Marriage is not, the paperwork on marriage is just one marriage license. Everybody get the same one.
But no, what I'm talking about, what I said was about Social Security. Did you not hear that part?
I did, but I don't know what we.
Okay, if you die, if you were to die,
it goes to the spouse. Their Social Security. Okay.
Okay, good. But that's based on the contract law between you and the U.S. government.
That's great. Like they get a direct deposit because the person died. That's amazing.
Okay, but if you're not married, it does not go to the common law wife. So that is not because
the government controls what TF is going on. And they should not.
Okay, they should not. So that's the point is that if you're going to be living in a country, you need to follow the regulations of the society. You cannot be making
even if they're wrong and it is detrimental to you. You just need to fall in line. You're right. So if you in a,
I bet not ever.
So if you
well, that's the reason why. That's
you
the
need
reason
to
why
fall in line.
That's the reason why. What's that? Not, I don't want to say polygamy, but when you marry more than one person. I can't think of the name.
Polygamy.
It's marriage. The actual name. There's an actual legal term for marrying more than one person.
Well, that ain't legal over here.
No, it's illegal in Utah. I think
Oh yeah. Well, no, because I gotta figure that out too. Because on my show I used to watch, they were running. They had to pack up and move. So I don't know what's going on.
I watched that show too.
Yeah, they had to move because one of the wives didn't want to move, and she was like, "F that," and he was trying to move all the families at one time. Pretty good show. Anyway,
but the point I was making is that you need to have this legal contract to administrate your society. So I understand where you're coming from. You don't necessarily need it. But it is based on your society. If you're going to live in America, you need to have deep documents to administrate American style society. So that's why marriage is needed. If you don't want to do that, then you're going to run the risk of all the stuff that comes along with not signing contracts. And that's the same thing. It's the same
not
thing.
necessary.
It's not necessary, but you're going to find out at the end of the day who's going to be the beneficiary when you leave. That's what it's about,
The
generational wealth.
beneficiaries who I write down as my beneficiary, because I'm smart enough not to just have money floating out here and nowhere to go.
Well, that's
Like,
good. That's good.
but Miss
But
Lackey was
everybody's
saying
not
that.
like you, Nick. We're not all business. They're not all
Oh yeah, I know.
businessmen.
Yeah, I get that. I get because people get into some crazy. Well, I'm going through one right now with my father-in-law's death. That's absurd. I cannot wait till I'm out of probate court so I can air this out. I'm gonna go viral. But you know, it's dangerous out here. It's very dangerous out here fooling around with this paperwork and not knowing what you're getting yourself into when you're doing these things. It's very dangerous and it can really hurt you and the people that are behind you, i.e. my husband, when you're gone. You know, so you gotta, I mean, everybody I guess doesn't get that life lesson. A lot of us we're not teaching, and hopefully we are as our generation teaching our kids as protection. So that's what I was saying to be like, yeah, you don't go into marriage with planning a way out, but you have to be smart and logical and know, you know, that things do happen. Like this person could wake up tomorrow and, you know, go shoot up a building or whatever. Like you don't know people until you know people, you know, unfortunately.
And I don't disagree with that point. Like that part, we're on the same page. I feel that, you know, if you're going into marriage, you need to protect yourself, right? And a lot of the times you should have these conversations. They always say, have these conversations whilst you're happy and in love. Before you want to go and get married, walk down the aisle, have these conversations. If things go south, what's going to happen? Because most likely you're going to have an agreement that both parties agree with. Right? And make sure that that is legalized and make sure that you have that in writing. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. You can't really go into and say like the traditional marriage is the wrong route to go down or shouldn't be gone down because the government's taking over. No, people just aren't smart about the way they're doing it. You know, you can still be just as protected. Yeah, that's still traditional. You can be traditional. You can still be traditional, but be smart about it.
By refusing to enter into putting the government in between their affairs. People are like.
But my thing is as well, though. Don't forget, right? The government doesn't necessarily. Okay, yes, they're gonna sign the divorce decree, or yes, they're gonna give you the marriage license. But it's up to the people of how much the government gets involved in your divorce. It's not necessarily if you both agree, the government's not going to turn around and say, no, that's true. No, I know you both agree on this on paper, but no, I'm going to give you X, Y, and you're going to get this.
But that's true.
Don't really happen.
That's true, but there is mediation period where people cannot agree, and then a judge has to decide.
But that's the point. That's the point of getting the government. That's the point of getting the government involved, because what happens is somebody ends up showing up at somebody's house with with a moving truck, taking all the furniture.
They can do that anyway.
No,
they can do that anyway.
I mean, they can, but we're talking about a civil agreement, so.
But you can do that anyway.
I feel like as well that you're looking at it from people that have the money, right? Or the people that are the breadwinners, and it's like protecting them and their money. But then you're forgetting about the people that put blood, sweat, and tears into this relationship. And had the government not get involved, they would be left with nothing. Nothing. Because the other person would take away. And my thing is, if that was the agreement in the marriage, then you need to give me time to be able to get on my feet, to now be by myself. Regardless of whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home dad, regardless, I think that if this is how we were living together, then there needs to be some kind of time frame for the other person to get on their feet. And it's not about bleeding someone else dry, but at the same time, if we made an agreement together that one person isn't going to work and they're going to take care of home, the family, and whatever, right? Then when we split, okay, it doesn't mean like, oh, well, I'm just going to take all my money because that was my money anyway. I was the breadwinner and I was the one paying for everything anyway. and I'm just going to leave you hanging out to dry. That's not okay. And that's the kind of things that the government's also protecting both parties, you know, because it's not like you get paid for life. There's still a cutoff date.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on what your state
I
is.
don't necessarily,
but
I don't necessarily think the government being involved in these situations is necessary. Now, should it be a final resort? Yes, probably. But does it help? It does help. It's not. And
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah, I just feel like when you're looking at it and you're the one that's making the money, or you're the one that's coming from the wealthy side of it, right? You look at it different ways, and the government's trying to get me and take my money.
So the one,
and
so for
it's
the
not
one that's
necessarily
not wealthy,
that way.
So for the one that's not wealthy, shouldn't there be something set in place for that person? Should something happen, right? It don't take the government, right? They can do that.
Let's be real, Nick. I agree with you. There should be, but let's be real. When things go south, does that realistically happen? No.
And that's why you don't need to be looking. That's why you don't need these fairy tales teaching you about marriage and love, because that's dangerous. Because then you're thinking, oh, I can just be a stay-at-home mom or wife and I'll be fine. And then the man decide you're getting older and he wants the new model, and then he's gonna go switch it up on you. But you've been so devoted and dedicated to your family that you didn't protect yourself, you know.
Or she's sleeping with the pool boy.
that too, because it goes down.
Let's be fair.
Right.
Because y'all set up these color purple scenarios, and
you're right. I'll give you that. You're right. Yeah, but
I've worked hard all my life. All my life I was working for you.
Miss Lackey I was gonna say that she was, when we're talking about Social Security, she said that if you get Social Security and one dies, it does not go to the spouse.
I want to know what this.
Hold on, I'm not done. If the one that dies was getting more than the living spouse.
Yeah, that's probably that scenario. I'm once again, this is not legal advice. This just, but I do remember my grandmother getting.
I know you get pension. I know you get people's pensions.
But she's got.
I don't know about Social Security. I thought Social Security stops paying you once someone dies. I don't know, but I don't know.
I don't know about social, but I think you do get.
I think my wife gets.
You get the 401 and the pension.
Yeah,
I know for a fact my wife gets my Social Security if I were to pass, but it's like weird combination of points and marriage years. I think also in terms of.
Where did y'all get married? What state?
None of y'all business. Hold on. We got married in America.
They're different laws based on, like, you know, I don't know, based off of where you live. So I was thinking like maybe, because you know how some states have, was it alimony and
yes.
And all of that, and we don't.
Because that's what the Currys are going through. The Currys are going through that because their residential state is, I think, North Carolina, and I think the wife is in Tennessee now. So they filed it in North Carolina because I think their primary residency of their marriage was in North Carolina. So yeah, it gets fuzzy. But I think it does. Basically, what I'm saying is that it's your primary residency during the marriage, or what you guys kind of consider that. Because go ahead.
No, that's fine. What I was gonna do is bring up a scenario. Oh wait, hold on. Mama Goddess said, E Black, when you die, your wife is gonna get your Social Security and a new man.
I will hunt everybody. Look, I will hunt. Look.
You know he will. But you know what?
Said that woman is not allowed to be with no one else.
She also gave you a compliment because she said your image is crisp. And did you get new camera equipment? It does look really nice.
Oh, thank you. I've been pressing buttons on this thing, so I don't know what
okay.
Pressing buttons works, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me bring in a scenario, okay? We're talking about unconventional marriages. So how is this conventional for you? How conventional is this for you? So say husband and wife are married, whether it be legally, not legally, whatever. And husband is cheating on said wife. Said wife, well, wait, hold on. So, mistress, who's also in a legal relationship with a husband or a partner, whatever, dies in a horrible accident. She's also pregnant at the time. Husband in this marriage or situation is grieving her. How do you handle that as a wife? Are you leaving, or a partner? It could be a wife or a husband. Either way, you guys can change the scenario for yourselves. Are you leaving? Are you helping your partner grieve that person? Are you, what are you doing? Because they said they love you. They're not leaving you. They would never leave you. They just had this other person, but it just hurt so much and they missed them. And they're just really going through the grieving process. What are your thoughts and opinions on that scenario? Real talk, you've been so quiet tonight. Let's let you speak.
Let who speak? Me?
Yeah, real. I want to hear you tonight.
I don't know how to feel about that right about now. Like, really, I don't know. Like, if this was like me, like, say what? What that mean? I can love my partner and still leave him. That don't mean nothing.
Okay.
Like, if I found out my partner was cheating on me and their other partner dies and they're sitting here grieving in front of me and shit, like, okay, I understand you cheated, right? If you grieving in front of me behind this person that you cheated on me with, get your shit and get out the door. That's how I feel about it. Like, you ain't gonna be grieving for some other yeah, really. Yeah, ain't gonna happen. Not with me, no. This is why I'm not married now, because I don't trust. It ain't just women I don't trust. I don't trust other dudes either. Like, I don't trust nobody like that.
Really
like,
love her. Like,
what that mean?
Love her.
V, understand this. I want you to understand this, V.
You knew about.
No, V, understand this real quick. People, 100% of divorces, literally 100% of divorces, I can guarantee you that person was still in love with their spouse when they got the divorce. I can guarantee you that they stopped liking each other. That's why they got that divorce, because they quit liking each other.
That's true, because I was still in love with my ex-husband when I got my divorce.
My point, exactly. I can love her to death and will still file for that divorce real quick. I'm just saying.
My divorce wasn't really, it was something that had to be done at that point. But anyway, it did. No, it really, I'll tell you after. But yeah, it really did.
No, tell me now. I want to hear this.
No, she don't want everybody else to hear, though.
It's just us. This is a safe space. This is a safe space
with the world.
And yeah, E-Black, you didn't want to share your information to it's personal, but I'm gonna go back on mute.
He don't even want to. E-Black don't even want to tell Lady. He don't even want to tell where he got married at. That's crazy.
Man, no, because you could take some of that information and do like.
Man, don't nobody listen, E-Black. You my boy, E-Black. But let me say this: we don't care about you enough to look up your shit.
No,
we really don't.
He be over there fooling with some folks on the other side of YouTube, and they be doxing folks and looking.
That's them dudes you be fucking with on the other side.
Wait, hold on. I was real for a second. So real. Say you're in an unconventional marriage where you are in an open marriage, and this is the situation.
First of all, it wouldn't be an open marriage. It'll be an open relationship. If that happens, like, okay.
No, because you can be married with somebody.
You can. I'm talking about for me. I'm saying no. I'm not saying that don't happen. I'm saying for me, it would not be an open marriage. It would be an open relationship because I'm not getting married. It would just be an open relationship. If that's the case, okay. Well, I still don't want you grieving in front of me like that. Like, I don't give a shit that he died. I don't know this motherfucker. So, like, if I'm messing around with somebody and that other person dies, I'm not gonna grieve in front of you like that because I respect you more than that. Like, I'm not gonna grieve in front of you like that. Like,
but you're my partner, So you should be helping
Um,
me through the grieving process.
but
Big
no,
messy. Oh,
V,
you
no, I'm not gonna do that. Mm-mm.
What? You ain't gonna stand by my side? You ain't gonna
Huh?
stand beside me?
No,
What?
you was getting dicked down by somebody else. Why the fuck would I want you grieving in front of me when he died? Like, no, I don't give a shit. I didn't know that man. I don't give a shit.
But I
I
love you though.
wait. I dig his grave up and cut his dick off and be like, here, there you go.
Ah, for real.
Sorry. Nita, hey, welcome to the conversation. Let me let Nita talk. I just wanted to see what Real had to say about that scenario. But hey, Nita, welcome.
Hey, I'm just gonna be about 3 minutes. I'm gonna take about 3 minutes of your time, then I'm gonna go ahead and drop back down in the comments section. First of all, shout out to the host, Candy Lee V.
Oh
You know,
Lord.
oh,
shout out to
Okay, Derek
to
Jr.
E Black. Shout out to that's my man right there, Real Talk 87. All the way back. We go all the way back. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you and the lovely Miss Intrigued by Neek. How you doing tonight?
hey, Derek, how are you?
All right, all right. I mean, since we were just stealing people's stuff that they real stole my whole line or whatever, so I just had to, keep the trend going. Um,
Okay.
but I wanted to get on. I was waiting for y'all to get on this topic about that whole wife and husband thing. We talking about a couple that's a married couple, and the husband has a mistress, and his mistress is married, and she is or was pregnant early on in her pregnancy, but he didn't know whether the baby was his or her husband's. Then she gets
Mm-hmm.
into a tragic accident and she dies. And now the husband is grieving and he wants the support of his wife.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm.
it were me and my husband had a mistress that he was grieving over, I would have to side with Real. And what I would do is go out, since he just can't get over this grief. He had to quit his job. He couldn't, his whole attitude hadn't changed and stuff, and he's not willing to work on our marriage. He'd rather go to grief counseling than to go to marriage counseling, all this shit. While he's still yet grieving, I'm gonna take my ass on down there to the courthouse, file for a dissolution of marriage while it's still fresh because he's still grieving and whatnot. So that'll give me, more leverage as the wife who's getting the divorce. And they'll be like, well, you know what? He cheated. So I go ahead and get that alimony about you because he's still over here grieving. You know what I'm saying? Because he lost his mistress. Why we're here today because he's cheating and he's grieving over someone that meant nothing to him or obviously meant a lot to him, and the death of her superseded
Mm-hmm.
his relationship and his love for me. So I don't even know. I mean, the person in the thing said, should she stay and work on it or should he get a divorce? I don't know what she said to do, but or should she stay with him and support him or leave? I don't know what was it. Remember the end, but for me, it's a no brainer. Like, oh, okay, this how you feel. Well, let's go ahead and get a divorce. That way you can
So
grieve your
infidelity is the
mistress
end all be
and you can
all of a
grieve this
marriage.
marriage.
Right.
Infidelity is the end all be all of a marriage.
Is
for
that the
So
who?
end
what?
all be all of a marriage?
Is it, or can you
Yeah,
work through
I don't
that?
know if he's asking or tell. I don't know.
Are you asking me?
Was that a question or a statement?
Yeah, wait,
Oh,
what?
I'm asking.
Oh,
No, it's not the end all be all. But if you're so distraught about some bitch and that you can't take some time to work on our marriage, then yes, in this case, it's going to be the end all be all.
Yeah,
I
I
don't,
agree with
I,
that.
I don't think I don't know. I wouldn't probably leave, knowing me. It just depends on
You
how much
would,
I get
or you
paid. Like
wouldn't?
it depends. I don't think I would. It depends on how much
Oh.
he's paying me to let him grieve.
Ah,
Damn.
So
And she said that with a
yes,
cold
because if we
face
got
She
good
too.
said that with a
life,
straight
shit.
face.
yeah,
Like
like you can grieve all you want, but I need to grieve as well, and I get over my grief through financial obligation here. Um, And I can even go get sent to Aruba for a week so you can cry your eyes out. And yeah.
Nah, I'd rather take that money so it can be an ongoing thing for the rest of however long I'm gonna be alive. Take that grieving money with me with the when I file for divorce and get that
But
not the prenup,
what if your
alimony.
money? What if say he paid me more than what it would be in a divorce?
Yeah, that
I would
sympathy.
If
live
that's
in
the case, then we
situation.
all cheating.
That
Cause if that's the case, we all cheat. I'm gonna take that money he paid me and go fuck me somebody else. Shit. So he grieving, I'm grieving, we all
Bad,
grieving.
We
I'm
all
like
grieving.
Stella. I'm over in
I'm gonna
Jamaica.
cry my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a hard scenario though. I think that it's hard whether you would leave or you would if you would. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people it's easy. It's like, nah, I'm out. But I feel like when you're in it, it's gonna be different.
I don't know. Like, cheating to me is y'all know I view cheating weird. I don't even like talking about the way I view cheating because it's just my way of thinking is so strange,
this
which
is a
I
safe
know.
space. This is a safe space.
But
I mean,
I,
Be black.
I don't feel
Tell your
safe. I
business
don't never
first
feel.
before
No, I'm
you
just
come out
playing.
safe place.
No, but I just don't like sharing because it's just people think weird things about things that I say or the way I believe because I believe like I don't believe in traditional marriage, but I am in one. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
I don't like talking about it, but I like to see different. I just like to see people operate in a different way and be successful at it, and not be held down to whatever somebody is telling you is the way to live your life, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, I don't look at cheating. For me, like if you let your man go to a strip club and he get lap dances, you should have no problem with your man cheating on you. Like, cause it's like he's lusting after another woman already. Like if he's watching
Mm-hmm.
porn in the strip club, if he's in the regular
True.
club, or
So
whatever.
if he's lusting after another woman, he's already cheated in his heart.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
hey,
feel so.
Mm.
I guess doing the actual act, I don't know if it makes it any better. Like like oh, he didn't insert into her, so it's just fine. Like no, if you don't live that way and you don't rock with it, don't do any of it. Don't even put your toe in the water at that point.
and
So
neat. The way I feel about cheating too, like I don't break up with nobody because they cheat. Like cheating, I don't care. Like you cheat, you cheat. First of all, I'm like this.
I've
I
never
just
heard
better
a
not
man
find.
say that.
No, I really don't. I just better not find out about it, and you better not just do it all in my face and shit. You see what I'm saying? Because then that tells me that you don't give a damn about me at all, any goddamn way. You understand? So I just feel like when it comes to cheating, just don't do it in my face. Because if I cheat on you, I'm not gonna do it in your face. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
but is it cheating if you know about it?
yeah, it's still cheating. I mean, if you give them a
Is
pass,
it?
like no, if like an open relationship, like that gives you free reign to go out and fuck somebody else. That's not cheating. But like if you know about it, it's not open relationship, but you still know that they out there fucking. No, it's not. It's still cheating. You see what I'm saying? But with me, because like I said, my ex, she cheated on me, and I did not break up with her. Like she cheated, I was hurt, but
I have
I was
not
like,
seen a man ever standing in shit like that before. That's crazy to me.
I
Cause
mean,
men,
used
y'all,
to.
y'all are
Like when I
y'all
was
are ego.
Yeah, y'all different,
No,
P.
because with me, I was when I was younger, like when I was in my early 20s, I gave a damn about that. Like you cheat on me, it's a wrap. I was that type before, but then I was like, people got to get their rocks off. She might have been tired of my dick, or she might have just wanted some new dick or something. So I'm like, hey, it is what it is. I get tired of your pussy sometimes, so if I let me do it.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm not gonna do it in front of you. I'm not gonna let you know about it. She's not gonna be around you. I'm not gonna make you look stupid by having you around her and shit. Just don't do me
But
like
I'm
that.
gonna go knock her down.
Yeah, that's
And
how I
most
feel
men,
about it now.
and let's be honest, most men are not going to publicly go on Facebook and say, "Oh, she cheated." It's like
Yeah,
that's a knock
yeah,
on
we
us.
don't do that. Yeah,
So
we
it's
don't do
like,
that.
so you're not going to hear about it more or less. But
But
there's
men,
probably
but no, because men will tell me like, hell no, like they feel like you're tainted.
that's what they
They
that's
don't
what they
want.
say. That's what they gonna say. But they
Oh,
know
okay.
they gonna go through her phone and they gonna be like, "Who's Trevor? Who's
Mhm.
but they not gonna say they gonna be like, man, fuck it, I'm out. But they gonna still be, playing the game. That's just how men are.
Oh, okay. See, I be taking stuff literal. Like when you tell, like guys are always like
That's why
thinking
guys.
like that's mine and it belongs to me and I own it because I got a marriage contract or something. And and then they don't want nothing to do with you. They can't look at you the same, I guess. I didn't think men were strong enough to get through that.
I'm with Nick. Yeah, I didn't think that. A lot of the times men are like, if you cheat on me, I'm done. Like they ain't sticking around for that. But yeah, if they cheat on you, they expect you to stay.
It's a mental thing when it comes to men. It's a mental thing when it comes to men. Some men mentally ain't strong enough for their woman to cheat on them like that. They just mentally, because it'll keep jumping in their mind when they finna have sex with her and they just thinking of another man hitting it. Some men mentally ain't strong enough for that. Me, I had to train myself to be that strong. Like, if it happens, hey, it is what it is. I had to train myself to think that, hey, that's why I train myself now that people, not just men and not just women, but people are gonna get their rocks off. I had to train myself to think that. So I trained myself into thinking to a new relationship that she may or may not cheat. If she does, I don't care. If she doesn't, that's cool. So I just be like, just don't show me. If you are, don't tell me. Like, don't throw it in my face. Shit, just let's have a good relationship. That's all I'm focused on is our relationship. If you cheating, don't let me know. If I'm cheating, I'm not gonna let you know. That is what it is. So yeah, being honest.
Okay, so let's wrap this thing up. Let's do our final thoughts on tonight's topic. What are your thoughts on unconventional marriages? You for them? Are you against them? Let's go. Black TV.
It's like I go first every week. Okay.
Because she always puts you first on the screen. Listen, no, because she Black. Every time before we start the show, she puts you on the screen first. I don't know why she never puts me on the screen first, but hey, it is what it is. I guess she don't want me sitting right next to her. That's fine though, Candidly V. That's fine. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. I didn't know you could do that. That's cool.
Yeah, you can. Okay, so
so she's been not doing that for like weeks.
Okay, let me go ahead and start this. I'm all for unconventional marriages. Really, what I'm for, because me myself, marriage right now is not for me, but I feel like whatever works for those two, for that partner, those partners or couples or whatever works for them, it works for them. If they don't want the government involved in their marriage, that's how they feel. I mean, nobody else outside of them has the right to tell them how to run their marriage. And I don't want nobody telling me how to run my marriage. That's why if I decide I do want to get married again, I'm going to get married with someone who feels the exact same way I feel about marriage. So that's it.
Okay. Be Black TV.
Well, I'm of course going to be for traditional marriages. I think the Black community needs more traditional marriages. We need to work together, stick together to build a society, build generational wealth, leave legacies for the next generation. And in terms of men and women, how they feel about traditional relationships, probably look at the benefits. Look at, the taxes, look at the special benefits of having a partner. There's other things that in life that you're going to have to sacrifice for. And you don't want to wait too late until you die or the other significant other dies or they run off because they don't feel like it one day. So, consider all things, but, understand that we're still trying to build a community out here, and good luck to you guys. Because I'm good. I don't know about y'all. Fuck that.
Nick.
I think that you can do all of that without having a traditional marriage. You can build generational wealth. You can have community. You can have family. You don't need a piece of paper from the government to do that. You can create your own paper, your own contract, your own everything, and you can divide your things through wills or just having that beneficiary, I guess, put in place up front. I don't see traditional marriage necessary, and I do think it can hurt someone. I'm appreciating people that are doing like these commitment ceremonies, but I can only appreciate it if they're taking care of their business on paper, you know, outside of that. But to just let the government know that no, we're not going to allow you to control what goes on within my union. I'm going to control that
Right.
because it's my life.
I
Nita.
like that. Nina?
Um, I really don't have much to say for the unconventional marriage part of it. But as far as the cheating spouse goes, it's a no for me. He has to go.
Okay. She said that's a no for me. He's got to go. Okay, so my final thoughts on tonight's topic is I'm not against unconventional marriages. I think they're a beautiful thing. If that's what you choose to do, then so be it. That's, you have every right to do whatever you as a couple want to do. I'm not against, and I wanted that to be very clear, like I'm not against conventional marriages. And I think sometimes when people have a lot of questions around it, my response would be mind your business. I mean, mind your business. If you don't like it or it's not for you, then go the route that you would go. But don't question or don't lessen the validity of my marriage to my spouse just because it's not done the way you did yours, if you see what I'm saying. So I agree. I feel like you can do it however you want to. I just hate that we're now in a society where people look at conventional marriages or historical marriage the way in such a negative light and making it so clinical with regards to the government. It kind of just gets to me because I just feel like marriage is something between the partners, and you have the power to control your marriage. You have the power to control your breakup too. And as long as you do it in the right way, everybody can be protected regardless. So I'm for conventional marriages as well. I'm all for it. Would I have a conventional marriage over an unconventional marriage? Probably. I guess it just depends. For me, it just depends. It depends on who I'm marrying, I guess, or whatever. But I'm for it. I don't mind. I'm not going against the legal route. Me. I work in the legal field. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of people's mistakes, and I've seen how it is handled and dealt with, and I've seen it a lot. And I have learned a ton from being in the legal field. So for me,
Yeah.
I'm not scared of it at all. I know exactly what I need to do, and the best way and the best situation it would be for me and my spouse. So that's my thoughts and opinions on it. Next weekend, guys, there will be no Battle of the Sexes next Sunday because your girl's traveling. Your girl will be out of town. So unfortunately, there will be no Battle of the Sexes next Sunday, but we will be back the following Sunday. So to everyone, but we will be around for ladies' night. If not, I will definitely put it up on my wall, but we should be here for ladies' night. So because it's my birthday, y'all.
Yeah.
I gotta put it in there. It's
Happy
my
birthday,
birthday
V.
coming up. Thank you.
See,
Happy
I wish I had
birthday.
a soundboard. I could play some horns or something.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Maybe I'll do something. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a quick pop-up live. I don't know on my birthday, but we'll see. But anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe week. Stay productive. Stay busy, and we will see you all at Ladies' Night on Thursday. Good night, guys.